Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Puppet Time Online. I'm Eric Wright. It's brought to you by the Puppet Kitchen. As usual, Puppet Time Online is your chance to sit down with some of the puppetry community's finest and me to find out what they know about. I've got Katie here with me producing the show. She's there making sure everything runs smoothly, but also catching your questions and comments. So if you have anything to ask or comments for me or my guest today, leave them in the comment section. We're on YouTube and also Facebook, which I think comments is over there, and maybe Twitch comments over there. We're on Twitch too. So I'm really happy that you're here watching the show. I'm so excited for our guest today. She comes to us all the way from Sonora, Mexico, and she's the co-founder of Lormiga Títeres, which is an excellent puppetry company down there. So please welcome to the show, Ailin Ruiz. Hi, Ailin.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having us today. And Absolutely. I say hi to all of your audience, of course.
Thank you very much. Yes, hello out there. And just a reminder, if you guys have any questions for Ailin or I today, leave them in the comments, and we'll make sure we get to them. Kitty will put them on the screen. Well, it's going to be great. So Ailin, we always like to start with asking people about how they got into puppetry. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Of course. Well, first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ailin Ruiz. Like Eric says, I am the co-founder of Lormiga Títeres, and with Serena Pedrosa, we found Lormiga Títeres, a puppet company based in Sonora, Mexico, right up north next to the United States, like 5 hours away from Arizona, 10 hours away from Los Angeles, California. So probably just find us geographically. And this year we are turning into our 10th anniversary, which is quite amazing for us, and we are very excited about it.
That's great. Now, congratulations.
Thank you. Now, back to your question, Eric. How did we start it? Okay, so we're gonna go back to the 90s. I was, yeah. Okay, you're gonna start the accounting on how old I am. Well, I was 16, and back in the 90s, there was a puppet company here in my state where I live, and my mom took me to this puppet show with this puppet company called Animalejos back in the 90s. Again, like I said, I saw this show called La Naja, La Cobra Vanidosa, and it was love at first sight. Must say that. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, after the show, I introduced myself to this amazing artist and puppeteer, and I started my path in learning puppetry. First, I started having my base into theater itself. After that, I started specializing in puppetry. In 2007, I started my first puppet company, which was the prior years before Lormiga Títeres, and then finally in 2011, we found Lormiga Títeres as we know nowadays, and 10 years later, here we are.
Here you are. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. What was the who was the puppeteer that inspired you all the way back then?
Well, they were the only puppet company here in Sonora. Right now, actually, we are the only professional puppet company here as well. We are the oldest company in puppetry itself in history for my state. But they were my inspiration, and they were pretty much of a blessing because they guide me through it, and nowadays they're still in contact with me, and they have been really, really close to our work, and they have, given us inspiration the first time. After that, I think we have looked up for different puppeteers. Here in Mexico, we have a Master of Masters, which is called Carlos Converso, which he's an Argentine puppeteer, which is like the Masters of Masters here in Mexico.
Cool.
And contemporary, we have some others that we like, but we can talk about it later.
Well, did you ever get to collaborate with them on projects after they inspired you?
Not yet. I guess I think we are on right now. We have the experience, and that we could actually just get knock doors and say, you know what, we want to collaborate with you.
Yeah.
Prior time, I guess we were just like, learning, trying to see as much as we can, trying to just go into our aesthetic education, which is very important for puppeteers and the artists around.
Yeah.
So I guess nowadays, we want to knock their doors. I'm probably going to be knocking doors.
Right.
After this interview, I'm just going to email them. But I guess I think we are mature enough. Our artists and our being an artist and as a puppeteers, I think we're mature enough to start, trying to make collaboration with other puppeteers. But that's the goal. That's the goal at the end.
That's really cool. Okay, so now that we know a little bit about what got you into puppetry, I always like to ask what keeps you in puppetry?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Eric, because early morning, I was telling you before, backstage.
Yeah.
We were on a panel discussion on Little Theater Angel.
Yeah,
and
London,
there was
right?
this amazing puppeteers from a lot of experience, and catch my attention for comments, and came up to my mind, why is it I keep on puppetry? I guess children should not lack of puppetry theater, right? Because they give them imagination, creativity, and of course being an example of dreams come true, right? So, and most of these panelists started as they were kids, right? Starting watching someone doing what they do, and they got inspired and then do what they do. So I guess kids and children should have always puppetry on their lives and theater itself around. I mean, talking from all theater, but yet it is important for them to have them and be an inspiration. So yeah, I guess.
Do you remember puppetry in your life before you were 16, before the mid-90s? Was there, or was that really your first exposure to the art form?
It was first exposure, I guess. Before that, well, we have done some documentary on puppetry here in my state. Giving a parenthesis here, we have done a museum exhibition with puppets that they've been donated for us from the 80s, back in the 80s. And for the time I watched this first show, that I was 16, this company was like 3 years old. So before that, there was no company that showed puppetry itself. That was my first time I saw puppetry, live puppetry, of course, because there's shows on TV, but there's not the same experience. You might agree with me.
Yeah.
So it was my first time, right?
That's really cool.
And I, like I said, I just fall in love for first sight, and I said I want to do that, and I started my path then since.
Yeah. Did you have a question you want to pop in here?
Yeah, we had a question from YouTube.
Oh, great. So is there something geographically special to Mexico that inspires your puppetry work? That's a great question, Bright. Thank you for asking.
Hi, Brian. Well, okay. Is there something geographically special to Mexico that inspires your puppetry work? Here, for example, here where I live, which is the desert itself, I guess most of our topics, we mainly Mexican. It's our indigenous ethnicities, geographically ethnicities we have. And I think that's something that quite gets me into puppetry, what inspires us. Most of our history in puppetry are marionettes from the beginning, like back in the 19,000s. And yet we have been evolving into puppets, and then we have evolved to shadow puppetry, and then we have evolved to hybrid puppets, which is something that it's been done recently, right? But I guess it would be topics into ethnic groups, topics like legends, histories that we always want to take in account because they're very important. And of course, history of puppetry before that.
Do you draw a lot on your own childhood, like stories from your own childhood to bring into your own work? Or is it really, or do you like, is it stories and legends like from, historical research?
Some of them have historical research, but some of them, like our recent work, we have found out, Sarina and myself, we have found out that most of our recent work has been inspired of our childhood. What we, probably most of it cartoons, maybe you have seen our shows or maybe not. But most of our inspiring are cartoons on the 90s, right? Sounds and topics and things that we liked before, what we fear about,
Sure.
and we find ourselves asking ourselves about, do you remember this cartoon? It was kind of weird that this thing happened, and then finding out, like, for example, Sarina, when we were talking about it, past days, she was telling me about this cartoon that she was annoyed by this type of lighting it has. And I was like, I did not see that outside. How do you catch that? And then we just went to YouTube to watch the cartoon again, and certainly there was a light, but it totally annoyed her, right? So then her work in illustrating, she kind of like gets into thinking about where the lights go. So it's kind of like the inspiration of it. So
that's really cool. How do you like working with children or producing theater for young audiences? Is there what do you learn from your audiences, during production or after production?
I have learned that children's are from everybody's, right? We have to take care of them. We have to look forward, and we always have to think about them, right? Or how we're speaking to them, how we get to understand the world through our eyes. And I guess it's most of the rewarded time that we have with them. I have learned that they are very unique and special audience, yet it is restricted by how adults understand the world. For example, if we have an adult or a family itself that has never gone to the theater, it's more likely not to go to the theater. So that's why it's important for us to foster families to go to the theater itself, because we want more children to get inspired. And like I said at the beginning of our interview, children should not lack of puppetry shows. They should see them, and adults, of course, because puppetry is not only for children. I mean, even though we have, puppetry shows for family shows, it's like any other movie you see on the movie theater, right? It's classified, for all audiences, but yet you can watch them. So it works the same on puppetry and theater. So always fostering families and young audiences to go to the puppet theater and watch the puppets. So I guess they're amazing. Children are amazing.
Yeah, it's really. Oh yeah, you have another question you want to throw in there?
Bright has another really good question.
Oh, excellent. I'm Bright. Between theater for young audiences and theater for adults, what changes in your approach in the creation or process of creating the puppet shows? That's a great question.
Bright, we are right now in a point where we are doing our first adult puppetry piece, and this has been very, very breaking our head into what is actually for adults. That's the question. Because we have been thinking, okay, so what probably most of big answer will be probably more sexual content, right? What we say, right? But actually, what does actually adult puppetry is itself, right? Because we have done children puppet for a long time, for 10 years. So we're in this point, Bright and Eric and audience, that we are creating our first adult piece. And I don't know, it's just our answer. I'll go with this answer so far. I mean, we've just been going with it. I think the answer it is that the way you approach the topic, right? And how graphic you can go with it, because puppetry gives you a lot of imagination how to approach a topic, right? Different from actors. You might agree with me. And I saw once, coming back to Little Angel Theater, we saw once a show. They were live stream, and there was this specific scene that there was a guy crawling into a tunnel to feed another guy in a cave or something like that. I'm not going to go with the story about it. But the scene where actually in the tunnel a rock came, completely mashed the guy, and the other guy just died out of hunger. So it was very explicit the way it was shown, and I was like, this is not for kids. I mean, this is something that kids should, that's truly not something for kids.
Yeah.
So I guess right now, so far, our talks and our analysis about what is children and what is for adults, it's the way you approach the topic. Because I guess you can talk to kids and you can talk to children about any topic,
right?
But depends on the approach you give them. So I guess so far our analysis goes to how you approach it.
That's really cool. Here's one thing that I'm curious about. So you've been doing theater for young audiences for 10 years. Lormiga Títeres is 10 years old now, which is great. And that's really saying something, I think, for a puppetry company. I feel like that's a really big achievement. Is there, what are the things that you're doing now that would have made you the most excited 10 years ago? Like, or that would have excited Ailin 10 years ago would have been so excited about what you're doing now?
That's a very nice question. I love it. I'm a dreamer, I must say. Sarina says always that I'm always thinking, from 10 years from now or 5 years from now, I'm always thinking about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I guess if I should talk to Ailin that was 16 years old, I guess that one of the things that have amused me is that the way we can get connected with other puppeteers and learn from them, right? And I guess what amused me is that nowadays the new things we are creating into paper puppet techniques, which we didn't do before the lockdown, because we had the time to do so, and then to actually do it into audiovisual puppet theater, puppet paper theater. I guess that's one of the things that I am amused. And for moreover that, I guess it's to just look back, because if I would have been, it was like, you have accomplished it. Your dream comes true, right? So, but for our audience, like I said, it's about being constant. It's about discipline. It's about learning. It's about time, hour, watching, learning, getting to the point, work every day to get to the point. I mean, success will not come into just because you do something. It comes because you work hard every day, and that's the dream, right? You work every day, and that's the dream. So that's
really true. It's really true.
That's what amused me.
Well, you mentioned the paper puppetry that you've been doing recently, and you actually brought a video to show that uses some of that paper puppetry. Can we watch that now?
Yeah.
Let me just talk about.
Oh yeah, you want to set it up?
Yeah, I just want to talk about a little bit about it.
Yeah.
This is a piece called An Anna. It's a piece that was made. It was made into the first mentorship program on the LA Guild of Puppetry. We were mentorship by Pam Severance.
Great.
In
she's
October. Yeah, she's awesome. Hi, Pam, if you're watching. And we were with our mentorship. It's the first mentorship program where only 5 of us were selected. It was a quite honor to be part of the LA Guild of Puppetry mentorship.
Yeah.
After that, we started showing this piece. Illustrations are from Sarina Pedrosa, graphic design and editing, myself, both directed, production of Lormiga Títeres. Now we can watch.
Yeah, let's watch it. That's so cool.
There you go.
And it's going to be right here.
It's going to be right here.
Ana?
Oh my gosh. Love it. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. This is one of, like I said, it was part of the LA Guild of Puppetry mentorship program. We get to meet amazing artists and puppeteers around, and it was one of the pieces that we created with them. So we're very happy with it.
What was the process behind that? Like how long was the development of that piece?
Well, development of that piece, I guess. Well, it starts with a storyboard, of course, like everyone. Yet we were working, day and night because we wanted to, get all the work done. So I didn't start the illustrations. I think it got her like at least like 2 weeks, but she was working, like really working day and night with it.
Sure.
And then for filming the video for the show, it was probably 12 hours, probably, maybe not in a row, but we did like 12 hours. Editing gets another time, and that's another process. Each one, it's a process. It's different though, because you film it, but later on when you're going to the production of editing, music, it's another character for the piece, right? And the special effects are another character of the piece. And Selena and I, we are really looking into actually keeping our pieces without dialogues in order to make audience to make their own dialogues, to make their own conclusion about the piece. So that's what we are, with not putting any dialogues in between. So that's we continue doing that for their pieces. With
what
paper.
Was the, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was saying paper puppet. We have 5 pieces. We are into our 6th one coming up. We're finishing. Finishing the last production, and we're going to have our sixth one.
That's great. I mean, as someone who just finished a short film with paper puppets, it's an excellent use of puppetry, like especially in lockdown when you have limited space, because you can't tell how big things are in camera. Like all of my puppets were like this, this big. Actually, I think we have a picture of some of the puppets from that.
Let's see here. Oops. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, this is from a different one.
Oh, this is a different.
This is for a 111.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, you can see the
yeah, you can see there's different.
Big.
Yeah, they're different. Depends on what does the scene needs. Of course, that's from what we watch. That's an Anna, and yeah, there's some of them are really small, some of them are bigger. In order to, it depends on the scene, I guess. It depends on what do you want to emphasize in each one of the scenes. Sure. It's like this zoom you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was just to get a little bit technical into it, what was your setup like for filming? Do you film those straight ahead, or do you film them top down?
On top down. We do top down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have done some into horizontal way too. Yet we kind of like the top one. We like
same.
Yeah.
Same. I much prefer it.
Yeah, it's different though, but you have to, bear with gravity.
Yeah, exactly.
Some things that you cannot do because of gravity. Yet it's a very, very handy tool to just do it on top.
Yeah. I love the clouds at the beginning of that piece. It's really nice. And the mixed media too. It's so nice to see. Like, I like knowing how it's made when I watch it. I like knowing that it's paper cutouts, and I like knowing that it's cotton on a a piece of tape or something.
Yeah, it's something just and for just filming that piece, sometimes, I mean, you probably know that because you're a puppeteer too. Things can go really wrong with it.
Right.
And you're trying to integrate everything. You want to get some animation into it.
Yeah.
And just pulling that string out with the clouds, it takes us like 5, 6 cuts, just do it right. And we probably have a lot of footage. I mean, different footage, like, this is the right one. Okay, let's do another one, just in case, it doesn't look right. Yeah. But just a small thing, it can take you a long time. I mean, we're very perfectionist to that. And Sarina did all of the illustrations, so they're original illustrations.
They're great. They're really,
really amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah. What's been because you originally said you were trained in theater, and most of your work is live work. What's your transition into video stuff been like? What kind of challenges are you up against finding, aside from one little thing can go wrong, like you have to do it again, and what's that transition been like for you?
Yeah, well, I guess is that first of all, you don't have the backup of a team. Before that, we were 5 of us, working in a company, and most of them do tabletop puppets before paper theater.
Right.
And one of the things that problems we had before that, like a year ago, before lockdown, we were thinking about launching our first TV shows, like puppet TV shows, like streaming. We had someone calling us from a TV, what do you want to do, a puppet show for children, for the children, hours. And we agree with that. And we were exploring into puppets, like TV puppets.
Yeah.
This it was a year or 2 years ago. and then we started, our path into learning how to use puppets on TV, because there's different, I might understand that it's different from theater than into TV. So we started our path into learning and getting to courses and get to know, there's different things out of TV puppets. At the beginning, we're like, maybe that's gonna be a good idea. Maybe we should just stick with theater, blah blah blah, But then when lockdown came, and we saw that our courses and all this we did for puppet TV, it wasn't for granted, because we started doing puppet shows, and we started to do puppet productions for different companies and different other educators and some other people. But most of it is like the lack of team that nowadays we have to do it just Ailin and me. Sometimes one of the guys will come and we'll work with together, but mainly right now it's just Ailin and me, because we cannot get all the team together just to just prevent into just having some safety into it. So that's one of the problems, I guess, and then to get all this technology going on, to understand it and then launch it, and then and one of the things that you show something right now and then tomorrow will not be the same. I mean, it's not going to be new. I mean, everyone will see it and they're like, hey, so what's next? It's not happening in theater. Theater is like, you see it once, you feel it, you are part of the experience, and then you have to come back, but it's going to be another different experience for you of doing it in theater. But doing it in audiovisual, the con of doing it audiovisual, I guess, is that you just premiere it, people will see it, and they will like, okay, so what's next? It's like, okay, I need 90 hours more to get to something.
That's amazing. I never really thought about that, but you're totally right, because when you go to the theater, it's a completely different experience every time, even if it's the same show. And when it's on screen, it's absolutely the same thing every time. That's kind of the point.
That's the thing. And that's what theater makes it special.
Yeah.
The experience of it. Right. So we'll never forget that.
That said, you also created, like during this time, you created the first, I believe, worldwide virtual puppet festival.
Oh yes.
How was that? What was that? What was that like?
It is the first ever festival, virtual, online, like totally. We were actually in lockdown here in Mexico. We went to lockdown on March the 17th. And like everyone else, we're thinking about what should we do. Everyone was releasing their blogs and their videos and stuff. They're starting to going into getting into showing and sharing their work. And then I remember I was at home and I was doing a barbecue, because I was in lockdown, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a barbecue. And I remember said, what if we gather with the rest of our puppeteers and we show something together, right? Because I saw some of my colleagues showing their shows, okay, showing their performances, but only as them as an individual, as a company. I said, what about if we do a virtual festival? That'll be amazing. I mean, recorded shows, it will be fine from their part and from there. So we did Puppet United, as they call in English, Títeres Unidos. And we posted our Títeres Unidos Puppets United publicity on Facebook, and we went to bed. When we woke up, we were 7,000 likes on Facebook. When we woke up, we were 9,000, and then after an hour, we were 11,000, and then at the end of the week, we're 25,000. I'm like, wow! I mean, everyone. Really cool. We were known worldwide, because we got people from Australia, United States, we got people from Canada, a lot of Latin American countries, of course, Colombia, Argentina, Chile, Peru. So we get to know a lot of different puppeteers around. And there's coming the second part of Puppets United, so stay tuned for that. Yes, of course.
That's cool. When will that be, maybe?
That will be on the second week after our spring break. After spring break, the second week, and it will be that, I think it's in April. So far. Nice. So we're this Puppet United. It's by invitation. So I'll send invitations soon. We need to send invitations. So yeah, so it's coming.
That's great.
But the thing is that when this second round of Puppets United, we know that it's not going to have the same impact that we did on the beginning, because we did something when we have to do it, and when you have an idea and you do it and perform it, and the point where you have to do it, you have a success like we did. Like we had a lot of audience. We know that this time we might not have that much an audience yet. I think it's a good way to get to know different puppeteers around the world, and to give them a chance to show the world also, and the audience itself, to show different puppet shows, so they can just follow them in their own countries. So
yeah,
it's coming.
Yeah. What are the other things that you're going to change about about this next one, or what are some of the things that you maybe challenges you came up against in the first one that you're looking to iron out in the next one?
I remember at the beginning of our first Puppet United, we didn't know how to broadcast. I mean, we were having the shows, and we did all, everything all together, and then we're like, okay, how do we broadcast? I remember we did our technical rehearsal, and we kind of like dispersed some things that we knew that were wrong, and we started live. I think one of the things we're going to change, I think I will go with probably performing in different social media, I guess, because I guess there's a lot of different social media that we can reach to it. One of the things that we actually have, and we're going to take from, and we do in Lormiga Títeres, is that every one of our shows is streamed online. We take them down. When it's not online, I mean, you have to see it on the point and the time you have to see it. If you don't see it, you won't have to see it again. Because we want to remind into kind of like theater experience. I'm gonna go with that, but into the unique way of experience something that you will not be able to watch again, right? So it's rarely you will find a Lormiga Títeres show live. Or stream or on YouTube, because we just take them down because of that. We want people to get connected, and the time they get connected, because then they was like, okay, so I can see it later. I mean, we want them to keep on watching at the time they want watching. And of course, if you're there, family is going to be there, so we want to share family time together. So basically,
yeah, that's great. I mean, maybe we should take these down after we put them up.
No.
No, you really, I mean, that's a really smart idea. I don't know, maybe. I'm still figuring it out too. I mean, I'm like you, like I was trained in the theater, and I'm just kind of brand new to all of the, like a lot of puppeteers out there, trying to figure out, digital technology for a mostly analog art form has a lot of, has a lot of hurdles and a lot of challenges. You said that also when you were thinking about getting in, or like thinking about your TV show or developing a TV show, you did a lot of research and a lot of learning and a lot of preparing that eventually helped you out for when you were in lockdown and producing stuff on screen because you had to. Do you remember, were there some things that you really like, the big takeaways from that research or from that time of learning that really came in handy when you were online, or like, things that other people that are also in this position could take away?
I think one of the most important things that we have to think about in advance, maybe the idea you have right now will not work right now, but as soon as you start developing the idea, and then you get other courses and you get to talk to other people, you watch other shows, then your ideas start developing as what you want to, to show to your audience. But at the beginning, we wanted to do like Lormiga TV show. I'm not going to call it like that because it didn't have even a name. And we did some shots with green screen and with our puppets, but like those puppets were tabletop puppets. They're not actually puppets itself. And then we created some puppets for the scene. Right before, I mean, I'm telling you this, we had these puppets, like these new TV puppets by February, I guess, just right before lockdown.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about, yes, let's start shooting some of our videos. Let's start, doing some stuff. Let's see how it goes. And then lockdown. So, but we have the puppets, right? So we have them, and that gives us a chance to start, creating our pieces out of what we had as a material. So what would I say is that you have the idea, write it down. You have a picture in your mind or something, or a show you want to do, write it down. For example, I have Sarina and I always talk about our shows and our projects have like 2 years period of development. I was thinking about TV puppet show 2 years ago, and then 2 years after we started forming on to, well, not TV itself,
right?
But then live stream and in YouTube, and having our series and stuff. So I what I would recommend most of it is that you might have the idea, you might say like, I don't know how to do it, maybe later, write it down. Eventually those notes will come out and like, I have the answer. So you will have it there handy, and it will come, naturally, you will develop it, right? That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's great. That's such a good idea. Yeah, do you have a question you want to throw in there?
Wright is on it. He has a million questions, and
Love
they're
it.
all really
yes.
Love it.
Right. Yes.
Right. If budget wasn't an issue, what sort of cross-border collaboration would you like to explore? It's, again, great question. Right. You're doing awesome.
If budget wasn't an issue, well, we always, if we would have $1 billion and we could do whatever we want, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of good collaboration without money being involved. I guess I'll go with, if we have to go across, cross-border collaborations, I will be into probably directing, someone direct us, probably some one-on-one mentorship, that would be awesome too. Bright does amazing. Bright is a puppeteer. He's an amazing puppeteer. I really look up into his work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you an email once I'm finished.
Yeah.
But I would love to, just get probably collaboration in between of, it's different. I mean, that's something into my perspective. I started to look into United States puppetry, get to know what you guys do. Different from what we do here in Mexico, totally different, even though we're next to each other. We're totally different in puppetry. And then I found out these techniques that you have developed. For example, paper puppet theater is a technique that you have developed for a long time, and we haven't here in Mexico have developed that much of time. And then the cross-border collaborations will come with it. How do you see puppetry, and how do I see puppetry? And that's the beauty of collaboration.
Yeah.
I think money, it's good. Yes, of course, we live out of, when we work. But if we do not have money, I guess one of the most important things that has to be into it is this experience into how to see puppetry, how do you learn puppetry, and how can you give that idea and that experience to the other person you are working with. So totally into whoever wants to work with us, or whoever wants or has the desire to collaborate with us. Do not hesitate into sending us an email. We always open. If there's money involved, great. But if there isn't money involved, fine. Eventually money will come. History has told us that.
Yeah. What do you think? You mentioned that Mexican puppetry is very different, or has very different history or tradition than American puppetry. What do you feel like are some of the keystones of those differences? What do you feel like are some of the hallmarks of what makes Mexican puppetry truly Mexican puppetry?
We have been, one of our traditional puppetry is marionettes. That's something that has stuck with us for a long time. We have these traditional families that have done puppetry in marionettes, which are amazing. And then it has been evolving into tabletop puppetry, with most of, probably you have seen some of them, Mexican, in Latin American, I would say, tabletop puppetry. We have done paper puppet, but like I said, it hasn't been a technique that we have been developing much. We actually have our first puppet theater festival. It has like 1 or 2 editions. I mean, there hasn't that much of time. I guess Mexican, it will make Mexican puppetry. I guess we'll go into tabletop puppetry, marionettes itself. Yeah, some glove puppetry also. Yeah,
Sure.
There's a lot of technique on that. And we have got a lot of influence from Latin America, like lambi puppetry also. But a lot of influence into Latin America. I mean, Brazil, Argentina, and stuff. That they do actually tabletop most of it.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but basically is that. Maybe Latin America is just techniques on that. What I can say about different from United States and Mexico, which is one of the things that I have seen. You have different techniques. For example, the approach of paper puppet theater, which we're into right now.
Yeah.
My research into United States puppetry came into knowing what's a cranky. I didn't know what was a cranky, and you guys have done it for a long time.
There's like so many workshops and whatnot about crankies. It's great. It's such a beautiful, simple piece of technology. It's really kind of amazing.
Exactly, and we do not have that here in Mexico.
Can you explain what that is?
Yes, we can explain.
Both of you can.
Yeah. So real quickly, a cranky is like a scroll in a box, and when it has a whole scene, or it has a long landscape, or it has the story sort of evolving. So as you crank one side of it, it pulls the scene across. And you can do long pans, or follow a character across, or just the way that the story unfolds, a bit like turning pages of a graphic novel. Sort of things appear in the scene because of this simple scroll technology.
Beautiful technique that I did not know about it until I started researching about what you guys do. Another difference between, I guess, we do not do a lot of shadow puppetry. We have some companies that actually specialize in shadow puppetry, but you have an exquisite way of doing shadow puppetry that I like a lot. And I'm learning a lot from you guys. I'm learning a lot of your techniques and your experience. Like I said, it's different from us. And there's a lot of things that you can learn from us too as well. I'm pretty sure.
I was just going to ask, what do you feel like? What can we learn from you and Mexican puppetry?
Well, you will not learn about puppet TV because you are the king and queens of. You are king.
I'll give you that. That's fine.
Yeah, you'll not learn that from us. I guess one of the things you will learn is probably one of the techniques that I haven't seen so much. Well, I haven't researched about the United States. It's a hybrid puppets of hybrid marionettes. There's some groups here in Mexico that they're doing hybrids. I'm explaining what's a hybrid marionette or half puppet, which is half a puppet, half yourself working with both of them. It visually gives you different visual of a puppet. It's like more of a human. Well, not all of them, but it's like a human puppet, and it's a combination between puppet and a human, which is a hybrid of thermoplastic. Some of them you could do it with paper mache. You can do it like that, and we do different techniques. But then the technique is that hybrid. You get to be a puppet, just half puppet, and your legs could be the legs of a puppet.
Wow, that's so cool.
That's different. I haven't seen that in my research yet. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Yeah, I might be wrong, but that's one of the techniques that I think I haven't seen in my research from United States puppetry. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Do you think about yourself, your work with with Lormiga? Do you think about your place in Mexican puppetry history? You've been around for 10 years. Like, you've been doing, that's, again, like I said, that's a pretty big accomplishment for a puppetry company. Do you think about what it means to be the premier Sonoran puppet company and the impact that you have on puppet history?
Well, we are, like I said at the beginning of our interview, we are the only puppet company here in Sonora so far, right? We wish to inspire some other young artists to do their own, of course. I guess yeah, we wish to have that spot in puppetry, Mexican puppetry. We hope, of course, but on that will depend on so many things, like I guess creativity, I guess ideas, innovation, But like I said, of course, it is about step by step. We want to get there. If we want to get there, we need to do our homework.
Yeah.
And that homework has to be done every day, every day. And especially those days when you don't want to wake up or you want to do anything, those are the days when you have to live the dream and like, I need to do something. As it could be a small thing, but start stepping forward into what you want to accomplish. We wish to have the honor, time and life, of course, to be one of all these companies and further Mexico.
Yeah.
And of course, to get collaboration with other companies, not only in Mexico, but worldwide. That would be amazing. But I'm talking about maybe 20, 30 years from now. And we're going to be watching this and we're going to have our next interview. They're like, hey, did you accomplish what you said on this interview? Like, Okay, next question.
You're gonna look back and you say, Ailin from 20 years ago would have been so excited about all these things that she was talking about.
Yeah.
It's really, really great. I've loved, it's been so great having you on the show. Thank you so much for being here and talking about it. I know that there's going to be big things in store for you, for Lormiga. I'm excited to see all of the things that you put together. It really, it shows that the hard work that you put in really pays off. And that's really nice to see. So thank you again for being here and for being a guest on the show. Thank you everyone for watching. And Ailin, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you everybody. I thank all the audience. It's great to have the chance to talk to you. Please follow us on our social media. This is a commercial. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We are around. There you go.
You are on Instagram.
There you go.
You can also follow them on YouTube. There's all kinds of great stuff.
And we love to have any communication with any of your audience. That would be awesome. And thank you, Eric, and all the team to having us tonight.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. I'll see ya.
Bye. Well, thank you very much, you guys, for joining us for another Puppet Time Online. Thanks again to Ailin for joining us. Really enjoyed talking to her. I hope you enjoyed that interview as well. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Puppet Kitchen on YouTube. You can also follow us on Instagram. We started this show on Instagram Live, so follow us there at the Puppet Kitchen. It's the Puppet Kitchen on Instagram. And puppetkitchen.com, of course, has lots of our past work and announcements about where to see us. Also, brand new, we have a Patreon page now where you can support this show. And we're really excited about that. We hope you all go to that patreon.com/puppetkitchen and sign up to support this show so we can have more great guests like Ailin. And there are several perks about being a patron there that you can find. It's really great.
Woo woo.
Woo woo is correct. Thanks, Katie. Of course, we also have Puppet Kitchen swag that you can pick up from our store. And so please support the Puppet Kitchen in that way. We really love having you here watching the show. We'll be back next week, Wednesday at 2 p.m. It's right in the middle of the week. I'll have Katie with me again and another incredible guest. So until then, just remember, you don't have to do everything to do something. We'll see you next time.